In the world of aviation, even the smallest mistake can lead to catastrophic consequences. On December 29, 1972, a seemingly insignificant error caused the tragic crash of Eastern Airlines Flight 401, killing 101 people. What could have possibly gone wrong during a routine flight that led to such a devastating accident today? We're going to unravel the story behind Flight 401. A story of miscommunication, human error, and a tragic series of events that unfolded in the skies over Florida. Stay with us until the end, because what happened that night is a stark reminder of how even the smallest mistake can have disastrous consequences in aviation. Eastern Airlines Flight 401 was scheduled to fly from New York City to Miami, a routine route. The Lockheed L-1011 TriStar aircraft was a state-of-the-art plane at the time, equipped with advanced technology and experienced flight crews. On board were 163 passengers and 13 crew members, including the pilot, Captain Robert Alvarado, the first officer, Albert H. Stockstill, and the flight engineer, Donald J. Repo. The flight was expected to be like any other, a standard flight for the holiday season. However, as the aircraft approached Miami International Airport, something small and seemingly inconsequential occurred that would lead to one of the deadliest crashes in aviation history. As the plane descended towards Miami, the flight crew encountered a minor issue: the landing gear indicator light. It was a simple problem. The light, which should have shown green to confirm the gear was down and locked, remained off. The flight engineer, Donald Repo, noticed this and began to focus on trying to resolve the issue. But the gear indicator light was, in fact, working correctly, and the landing gear was in place. So, why did this minor issue become such a huge problem? As Repo tried to troubleshoot the indicator light, the crew became increasingly distracted by this small malfunction. Captain Alvarado and First Officer Stockstill also turned their attention to the indicator light. While Repo was trying to fix it, the plane, which had been in autopilot mode, was slowly losing altitude without anyone noticing. With the entire flight crew distracted by the landing gear light, they failed to realize that the plane was descending steadily toward the ground. The autopilot was still engaged, but it wasn't correcting the descent. What followed was a terrifying realization: the plane was in a descent that the crew hadn't caught in time. A minute passed. Then 2 minutes. Suddenly, the stick shaker and automatic warning system went off, alerting the crew that the aircraft was dangerously close to the ground. The last thing the crew heard was the blaring warning system. They scrambled to take control of the aircraft, but by then, it was too late. Eastern Airlines Flight 401 crashed into the Everglades just 18 miles from Miami International Airport. The crash was a devastating tragedy. 101 people lost their lives, including the entire flight crew. Only 75 passengers survived, some of them seriously injured. The wreckage was scattered across the Everglades, and rescue teams worked tirelessly to pull survivors from the wreckage. In the aftermath, investigators were left to piece together what had happened. How did a simple issue with a landing gear indicator light lead to such a devastating disaster? The answer lay in the human error that occurred during the flight. The crew's distraction with a non-critical problem led to the fatal loss of situational awareness, and the failure to notice the plane's descent in time sealed the aircraft's fate. The investigation revealed that the crew had become so fixated on the landing gear light that they completely lost focus on the primary task at hand: safely flying the plane. This tragic mistake was a powerful lesson for the aviation world. The crash of Flight 401 brought major changes to aviation safety protocols. One of the key lessons learned was the importance of maintaining focus and situational awareness, especially in critical moments. This incident also highlighted the dangers of cockpit distractions and the need for improved communication and cooperation between crew members. One of the most significant changes that came from the Flight 401 disaster was the development of Cockpit Resource Management (CRM). CRM focuses on effective communication and teamwork among flight crews to prevent accidents caused by human error and distractions. But the legacy of Flight 401 didn't end there. The crash, along with the lessons learned from it, would influence how airlines and aviation authorities around the world approached safety. Pilot training and standard operating procedures would be revised to emphasize teamwork, communication, and an unwavering focus on the flight's primary objective, safe flight and landing. Flight 401's story doesn't end with the crash and the subsequent reforms. There's another eerie element to the story. In the years following the disaster, rumors began to swirl about the wreckage of Flight 401. As the damaged aircraft was dismantled, parts of the plane including seats, components, and instruments were used in other Eastern Airlines planes. Crews and passengers aboard those planes began reporting strange occurrences. There were stories of strange noises, mysterious feelings, and even sightings of ghostly figures resembling the crew of Flight 401. Some even claimed to see Captain Alvarado or First Officer Stockstill appear in the cockpit. Though the stories were likely the result of urban legend and superstition, they added an eerie layer to the already tragic history of Flight 401. What began as a minor, almost inconsequential malfunction, an indicator light for the landing gear, spiraled into one of the most devastating crashes in aviation history. The crash of Eastern Airlines Flight 401 serves as a tragic reminder that even the smallest mistake or distraction can have catastrophic consequences. But out of this tragedy, the aviation industry learned invaluable lessons that have made flying safer for all of us. Cockpit resource management, better training, and an emphasis on situational awareness all stemmed from this disaster. If you've stuck with us until the end, you now know how a simple distraction led to a tragedy, but also how the lessons learned from Flight 401 have forever shaped the future of aviation. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intriguing aviation stories. Until next time, safe travels.